continues next week. I can't believe what we have witnessed. Boxed in, he fires at the buzzer, and it's over. It's over in Los Angeles. If you've never seen a Buffalo dance, you will in 2012. The University of Colorado has won the Pac-12 championship.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Buffalo Stampede, a special edition. We're looking back to the greatest moments in Colorado history in the Pac-12. That takes, of course, 7 years. This guy right here had a great one off the top, in fact, as the Buffaloes won the inaugural Pac-12 Conference Championship, not in Las Vegas, in Los Angeles. Head coach Tad Boyle here. You still get asked about that all the time, I would imagine, huh?
Occasionally, yeah. for the diehards that remember that. I mean, that seems like a long time ago, but boy, what a special 4 days that was for not only our basketball team and players and coaches, but for our program and our fans. It just each night it just kind of built on itself. It was a lot of fun.
It's a great challenge going into a tournament like that to win 4 games in 4 days. In fact, it had never been done in Pac-10 history. But when you look at the group you had Andre Robertson, you had Spencer Dinwiddie, who's a young player coming off the bench. Nate Tomlinson was a veteran point guard. Austin Default was a veteran guy. Yep. You had a very nice makeup of players maybe to make that run.
We did. And Carlin Brown was MVP of the tournament. Yep. I mean, so we had a really good starting five, but we had a great bench. And you have to have that to win 4 games in 4 nights. And Mark, if you remember that first night against Utah when we opened up, it was not a real pretty game. In fact, we kind of just slugged our way through that thing. Didn't play great, but then we were able to beat Oregon by a shot, a great defensive stop, a shot of theirs that didn't go in, and then we beat the Cal Bears, and then we were playing on fumes against Arizona. But boy, the guys, they took it upon themselves, and like I said, each night built upon the last, and they weren't going to be denied.
You mentioned Carlin Brown. He was a transfer from Utah, sat out the year before. His game, as that season wore on, continued to elevate. And for those 4 games in Los Angeles, he was special.
He was as good as I think any player we've had in 4 straight games. And what people forget about Carlin is about midway through the Pac-12 season that year, he was in a little bit of a shooting slump.
That's right.
I remember he was struggling to make shots, but he's such a mentally tough guy that he worked his way out of it, and then we had great, Spencer. You mentioned Spencer and Andre, 2 young pros that were really developing their game. But it was a great team effort.
Well, we're talking the best moments in Colorado athletics history in the Pac-12 here right now. Men's basketball with Tad Boyle. We'll continue with him in a moment. In women's basketball, go back to 2015. The Buffaloes get in the Pac-12 conference tournament, and en route to making a nice run, knock off the #1 seed.
Crystal had some space. She is feeling it. Bring it up. Scott Ruick. Hey, back door. Everybody getting involved.
Hey, Buff fans, do you believe? The 9th seed.
Oregon State needed a 3, and instead the turnover and an upset.
Cinderella has arrived in Seattle, and it is the Colorado Buffaloes.
We continue to Stampede, talking with Tad Boyle, head men's basketball coach here at Colorado. The move to the Pac-12, you touched on a little bit what it's done from a recruiting standpoint. Overall, now that you kind of look over the course of 7 years, good move. What's it done for your program? How's it changed things in terms of how you approach things?
It's been a great move. Anytime you call a kid or a family on the West Coast, they're familiar with your conference just off the bat, because the Pac-12 really dominates the West Coast, and so that's the nice part about it. The other part is the travel. You go to some really great cities in the Pac-12. And on the West Coast, you got San Francisco, you got L.A., obviously, and up in Seattle where Washington is, and down in Phoenix. So really good venues to play. But what strikes me about the Pac-12 is their dominance in really a lot of different sports. Mm-hmm. And it's not just basketball, obviously, but it's a great league to compete in, some really good coaches, and we've had some tremendous home wins, over the course of these last 7 years.
Yeah, without question, a couple of big ones over top 15 teams in Arizona and Arizona State last year. That's Tad Boyle. It was a great opener to start Pac-12 history for the Buffaloes in the new league as they won the conference championship in the tournament in Los Angeles. Coming up next, speaking of dominance, how about cross-country, what Mark Wetmore has done? He comes your way next.
Jones, pull it away. Neal does not have an answer this year. Danny Jones has come a long way to purge the past. Second last year, she wins it in 2017.
There's some great shots at Danny Jones. Became the only Buffalo, by the way, to win an individual cross-country championship in the Pac-12. Back on the Buffalo Stampede, I'm voice of the Buffs, Mark Johnson, cross-country track coach. Mark Wetmore joining us for a couple of minutes. That was a great moment for the Buffaloes when she won that title.
Yes, indeed it was. The Pac-12 Women's Cross Country Championship is it's just loaded. Remember that old horror movie in the 1960s, Monster Island?
I do,
yeah, all the monsters came together on one island. That Amy Eloise Neal of Washington and Vanessa Frazier of Stanford and Katie Rainsberg of Oregon and Danny and some of her teammates. It was a gathering of monsters.
With what Danny has done, and by the way, she's redshirting in the spring from track, but as she is developing as a runner, is she becoming one of the next great Colorado runners, do you think?
Maybe. I'm pretty superstitious about making prognostications, but she's got some of the traits of getting better season after season. I know this sounds dumb, but the mark of a great athlete, or great runner anyway, is they keep getting better.
Sure.
They don't just plateau and sit there at 4:20 for 1,500 meters. So she, like Jenny, like Emma Coburn, like Kara Goucher, the great women we've had here before her, she seems to just keep getting better season after season. And so 2 years ago, one wouldn't have predicted her as a contender for the Conference Cross Country Championship, particularly not on Monster Island.
Yeah. Mark, you know, we in this show, what we're talking about is great moments or seasons for the Buffaloes in the Pac-12. You've nearly won the Pac-12 Cross Country Championship every year. It's been a great period of time for CU Cross Country in the Pac-12.
Well, I only remember the last one.
Which you didn't win?
Which the men didn't win. So let's talk about the women. Yeah, the women's win this year was very good. Again, same with the individuals, it is with the teams. These are killer teams, all in the top 5 or 6 of the NCAA year after year. We were not favored, the women, to beat Oregon. They were home, and we were able to upset them. So that was wonderful.
Yeah, without question. By the way, another one of the great runners for Colorado is Joe Klecker. He's a sophomore for the Buffaloes, and we caught up with him.
Running in Oregon, there's a lot of tradition running there and a lot of good fans, so we knew going into Eugene it would be a good atmosphere. It was fun running in Eugene with all the knowledgeable fans out there. Going into the Pac-12s, it's pretty much all about the team rather than individual placings, so we knew going in, winning 6 in a row, that Stanford and Oregon, UCLA would have a target on us and trying to beat us that day. We've recognized that and knew it would be there. So with about maybe 300 to go, I was actually feeling pretty tired and saw myself kind of fading back. I think I used too much too early and kind of tied up and wasn't able to hold them off. But I was still really happy with how I was able to respond when, with about 400 meters to go, I thought that I was going to get about 5th place that day. I was very proud of how everyone performed. It was definitely the best performance we've had as a team this season. To lose while running that well, it's hard, but at the same time, it's good looking forward to the end of the season, knowing that everyone's kind of firing on all cylinders. Looking at it, there's not much more we could have done to win the race. Stanford had a great day. But yeah, seeing that going towards the end of the season is definitely boosts the confidence.
There's sophomore Joe Klecker. You know, one of the unique things about track cross country, you've got athletes like Joe who might be 1 year in cross country, but a different year academically and a different year in track. He's one of those unique athletes.
Yeah, we redshirt by season, not by year. So an athlete can run cross country and redshirt indoors, back again outdoors, redshirt cross. I have to keep a chart.
You know, the flow chart makes sure you know which athlete is on what level. You know, we talk about this period has been good for Colorado. The program here at CU has been dominant, of course, Big 12, you know, the Pac-12 now. What moments kind of stand out to you as you think about the 7 years for the Buffs in the Pac-12?
Sticking to the Pac-12, I would say the standout moment for the men would have been 13 when we hosted over in Louisville. Thousands of people there. It was an unusually beautiful day for almost November. Really dramatic day, and the men were able to win. So that was a great day for us. The women, they've had a lot. I would say last year probably was the standout single year for the women's team. Winning at Oregon against an Oregon team that was favored.
You know, we talk about conferences in football that are better than others, that kind of thing. Basketball the same way. Where does the Pac-12 rate when you look across the nation in track and cross country?
Well, if you judge by the finishes at the NCAA, 3 or 4 teams from the Pac-12 are always in the top 10 of the NCAA. 3 or 4 teams of the men usually. Stanford, Colorado, Oregon, Washington. Annually good, reliable teams always in the mix.
Has the move to this conference helped you from a recruiting standpoint? Have you seen much of an effect there?
I don't know. I think so. I think people look forward to traveling to the cities of the Pac-12 and competing against those teams. Young 18-year-old male and female athletes are optimistic and want to go against the best. So they look more forward to facing Stanford and Oregon than I do.
And I kind of get the sense, knowing you a little bit over the years, not winning that one last year sticks in your craw a little bit more than the maybe up or the high emotional levels of winning those championships.
Yeah, that's what we think about. That's what motivates us for 11.5 months is the one we lost, not the ones that we won.
Well, you got a chance to redeem yourself next year. Good luck.
Thank you. I'm working on it.
All right. Cross-country and track coach Mark Wetmore here at the University of Colorado. When we come back here into Stampede, you might remember 2016, the rise for the Colorado Buffaloes. Head coach Mike McIntyre, the Buffs football team, joins us next.
Joe Williams, he runs into Rick Gamboa on the right-hand side. Ball is fumbled, picked up by Kenneth Olabode, and he runs it in from the 6. Touchdown! Touchdown, Colorado! And it's over in Boulder. The Buffaloes knock off number 22 Utah, and the rise continues next week in Santa Clara.
What a great moment it was for the Buffaloes winning that Utah game and clinching the Pac-12 South. That was 2016, the rise for the Buffaloes. Mark Johnson, voice of the Buffs, as we continue to look back on the best moments in Colorado history during their 7 years in the Pac-12. Mike McIntyre, head coach of the football team. That 2016 season, that was one of those magical campaigns, Mike, and I imagine to this day you still get asked about it quite frequently.
Yeah, it was a phenomenal season to see those young men grow up and achieve all they did that year. It was also really amazing, the fans, the crowds, and the storming of the field, seeing Rick George trying to stop all the people from running on the field. It was a special, special year that has excelled our program.
You know, and I would think as well, when you come to a program like you had, you're trying to build a culture. You could kind of see that developing within your roster, couldn't you?
Yes, I definitely could. I don't think anybody else thought they could, but I did, and I saw those young men, and they left a legacy and something that's very, very special. And you know, just seeing the way they cared for each other and seeing the joy in their faces and the sense of accomplishment from where they came from was really special.
I think back to that season a little bit, and maybe, you know, you guys believed in yourself, the team believed in itself, fans were starting to learn what that team was all about. Maybe that game in Eugene, Oregon, beating the Ducks kind of maybe sent a signal to everybody that, hey, the Buffs are for real, don't you think?
Yeah, we went to Michigan and played real well and got blown away at the very end there, and we lose 3 of our top players.
That's right.
In 3 plays. So we have to go play Oregon at Oregon, who beat us pretty good through the years, and we have to play a redshirt freshman quarterback that's never started a game, never really played a little bit in the Michigan game, didn't look very good, and that was a fantastic moment, and I'll still never forget Akello Witherspoon in the back of the end zone winning the game for us.
That's right, and Bryce Bobo having a great one-handed catch. And
Steven Montez going crazy in his first game. It was special.
It certainly was for the Colorado Buffaloes. By the way, after the Buffs clinched the South, some of the seniors obviously were celebrating.
It's a great feeling, you know, to put in all this hard work with these guys and to finally get something out of it. I think we've been working really hard for all the time I've been here, and we don't have much to show for it, but this year we do. And I can't thank the defense enough. Those guys are stepping up this year and making plays. Defense got my back today. Offensive line had my back. Receivers had my back. And just because we're such a close team now, it just makes everything that much sweeter.
I'm just happy that we won, and nobody thought we'd be here, especially 4 years ago. But we kept our faith in Coach Mack and kept our faith in each other. And it's a blessing to see the excitement in the locker room, see the excitement on the seniors' faces, and see the excitement on Coach Mack's face. So we got to keep it going, though, because we're about to face a good UW team on Friday.
Certainly some happy seniors after the Buffaloes secured the Pac-12 South for the first time in that 10-win season in 2016. We continue with Mike McIntyre, head coach of the Buffaloes. Then, of course, it was out of the Pac-12 title game and a bowl game for the first time in quite some time. Both, I think, didn't go your way, but both games, I think, that have kind of helped continue the building process, haven't they?
Yeah, the Pac-12 South, the Pac-12 game was phenomenal playing there in Santa Clara at the 49ers Stadium, and the atmosphere. We played an excellent Washington team and played well the first half. Second half didn't go quite as well as we'd like. And then going to the first bowl they've been to in a long, long time here, and going to the Alamo Bowl down there was a great experience for our kids and excellent for the fans to kind of get back involved in everything in the bowl scene. So, yeah, it definitely has propelled us to keep going.
You know, Mike, you don't do that kind of thing without great leadership, not only from a coaching staff, but kids as well. And you had one of the great leaders, I think, in Colorado history, in Cepho Lufau, that kind of led that team and really set the tone for the Buffs.
Yeah, Cepho is one in a million type guys.
Yeah.
He's a young man that we threw in there in the fire as a freshman, and he just battled and had his lumps and also made great plays and kind of took a lot of scrutiny at times. And then that year, he was going to will us to everything, and it was special to watch all the seniors rally around him and them rally together. Cepho is always going to be a special place in my heart, and he'll be a special place in CU football history.
Yeah, without question, one of the greats of all time in Colorado history. How about the move to the Pac-12? I know you weren't here during the transition, but you got here shortly thereafter. What do you think that has meant for your program, and how can you use that as you continue to build things?
We're excited about the move to the Pac-12. I think it's a great fit for the University of Colorado. Academically, we fit excellent into the Pac-12. We're a high academic school. And then, you know, a lot of students, there's almost 20% of the student body in the high teens are from California.
That's
they go to Colorado. So it's a great fit for us, and we love it. And it's been I think it's been great for the university, and it's been great for the athletic department.
And undoubtedly, from a recruiting standpoint, it's always good to be able to go out in California and say, Mom and Dad, we're coming right back out here to play.
Exactly right. We're going to come out there every year, and we're going to go south and north every year. So it is a great thing for us to be able to say that.
That was a good memory. Mike, good luck this upcoming season.
Thank you very much.
All right, Mike McIntyre, as we talk about the rise in 2016 as we continue on the Buffalo Stampede. Coming up next, what a great 2017 it was for Ann Elliott and the CU lacrosse team.
Colorado is your Pac-12 women's lacrosse regular season champions as they defeat Oregon 19-9. They're taking home the trophy for the regular season. You see it there, a lot to be proud of them. They're celebrating after winning the regular season title.
That are some great images for the first Pac-12 regular season title for the CU lacrosse team. Back into Stampede as we look at the greatest moments in Colorado history in the Pac-12, which is easy for Ann Elliott. They've only had 1 year in the Pac-12 for lacrosse, but that was a great moment for you guys.
Yeah, it was really exciting. I think, you know, just it being senior day too, playing at home, being able to clinch the regular season title in the first ever year of the Pac-12 definitely, you know, was a goal of ours from the start, and just a really fun, exciting moment that we got to share with, you know, all the friends and families and fans that were there too.
You know, Tad Boyle, the basketball team, did that the first year of the Pac-12. Did he tell you, hey, this is pretty nice, you might want to try this? Win it the first year?
Yeah, right? No, he's been such a huge support, honestly, that program and everyone over at the Coors Event Center, you know, throughout our season, just given all that we had going on. And, you know, it's definitely exciting for us to be able to do that in the first season.
You know, we've talked many times about how you built this program from scratch. Going into this year, first year of the Pac-12 conference for lacrosse, did you kind of have a sense that you had a pretty good group here and there was maybe potentially something special happening?
Yeah, definitely. You know, we were excited from the beginning of the season. I think a lot of players coming back, a lot of new players and freshmen stepping up. And I think just our players in general, being able to play for a Pac-12, you know, regular season and championship was just such a goal of theirs and such an excitement that we were just really motivated throughout the season.
Boy, you had some great players. Darby Kieran turned out to be a great player for you, didn't she?
Yeah, Darby was amazing. I think, you know, in her 4 years here and everything she did on and off the field for us and as a leader, and really just that class on a whole. You know, a lot of them that played, some of them that suffered some injuries and weren't allowed to play, but I think in general their leadership, especially this year after losing their friend, was incredible.
Yeah, in fact, we talked about that many times, losing a teammate, in fact, before the season, and you honored her phenomenally throughout the campaign. There is a galvanizing effect from something like that, isn't there?
Yeah, I mean, it just, you know, it's something you deal with every day, and I think it's a motivator for us, and especially on that senior day, when we knew going in that was our opportunity to outright win that Pac-12 regular season title. Just such a motivation to do it for her and her family that was there with us.
We're going to continue with Ann Elliott, but first, how about some comments about a great season? Junior attack, Miranda Stinson.
I think after Denver, we recouped and we decided that we needed to come out and fight harder, despite the weather. Obviously, USC was a really, really important game. They've beaten Stanford, or Stanford's beaten them twice, and we lost to them, so it was good for us to come on top of that one. And Arizona State, it was good for us. I don't know if we're peaking yet. I think we're taking it game by game, and we're hoping that every game we come out and do our best.
There's comments from junior, soon-to-be senior attack, Miranda Stinson, as we continue with Ann Elliott here in the Buffalo Stampede, looking back to greatest moments in CU history in the Pac-12. 1 year for the women's lacrosse team. That's the only year they've had women's lacrosse, in fact, in the Pac-12. And you got to host the tournament right here. That was kind of neat.
Yeah, that was amazing. I think to have that opportunity to host the first ever Pac-12 championships here was such an honor. And I think everybody here, you know, Gabby that organized a lot of it, and all the staff facilities did an incredible job. I think every player, you know, really felt it was a special opportunity and something special to be a part of in this first year.
Buffs win the regular season title. You weren't fortunate enough to win the postseason title. You got beat by Stanford in the championship.
Yeah, you know, Stanford's a great team, and we had close games and battles with them all season long. We were fortunate enough to win the first two, and, you know, the third one didn't go our way, and I think a credit to them on how hard they played, and, you know, they're a great team. I think it's so exciting for just the future of our sport in lacrosse.
When you talk about the Pac-12, are you talking about an elite level conference in terms of women's lacrosse when you compare to others around the country?
Yeah, I think definitely. I think, you know, this is a conference that keeps getting stronger year after year. A conference where teams, you know, keep improving, and, you know, we're motivated to play at that highest level and against the best competition in our, you know, non-conference schedule. And I think it's a really exciting future for our sport.
Well, then you got into the NCAA tournament, went 1-1 in the dance, beating Jacksonville, losing to Florida, down in Florida. Talk a little bit about those two matches.
Yeah, I think, you know, going back to Florida where we started the season off was special for us. Getting our first ever NCAA win against Jacksonville. You know, it was an offensive fight for sure. High scoring, but really exciting, fun game for us, and just exciting to get that win. And then coming out on Florida, you know, I thought we played pretty hard and well, and, you know, just couldn't make enough plays down the stretch, and they did. But I think, again, a good experience and something that's going to help us in the future as we continue to build this program.
Yeah, and I was going to ask you, too. You talked about losing some very good seniors, obviously. Is this a good springboard, do you think, with what you got coming back next year?
Yeah, definitely. You know, I think next year we'll have 20 freshmen and sophomores combined, so we're going to be young. But I think experience throughout, and a highly motivated group that's really committed to playing together and getting better every day. So we're really excited about the future, and we're really excited about next season.
Well, Coach, congratulations. Good luck next season.
Thank you very much.
All right, that's CU women's lacrosse coach Ann Elliott, regular season championship in the Pac-12. Coming up next here in the Stampede, speaking of great years, Jesse Mahoney and the CU volleyball team had an outstanding season last year. The head coach joins us next.
Back to Baylor. Played shallow by Etiola. Set left side. Presley into the block, and it closes. Score popped up by Brusick. Set outside Presley, and that's a block for Colorado. Nageti Abu along with Pepperly.
We continue with the Buffalo Stampede as we look back to the Buffs' time since 2011, 2012 in the Pac-12. It's been a great tenure for Colorado. In fact, 2017 was the best year for Colorado volleyball. Although head coach Jesse Mahoney joining us. A great 2017. Buffs go to the Sweet 16 for the first time in 20 years. Now that you've had some time to think about that, what do you reflect upon when you think about that great season?
Well, I'm really proud of our players. You know, they've in our short time here as a staff, they've really grown. We had a lot of great individual moments in the season, but really as a team, by the end of the season, we were kind of firing on all cylinders, and it was a lot of fun to watch them perform.
Could you kind of, and you're number two for Jesse, by the way, could you kind of feel it coming a little bit? Did you see what was coming with this team?
Yeah, I mean, I knew we had a lot of talent, and I knew we had a lot of really good senior leadership, and you know, we had a lot of opportunity to succeed because our league is so tough, and we, you know, every day in practice felt like we're getting a little bit better. So the second half of our league last year was really good. We were, you know, hitting on all cylinders going into the NCAAs.
You mentioned some great seniors, or three great seniors for the Buffaloes, but you've also got a special underclassman in Alexis Smith, don't you?
Yeah, Lex is, you know, one of the best All-American, local Colorado kid. She's the type of kid that everyone wants in their program, not just from a performance standpoint, but just as a great person.
Yeah. How about Brenda DeLuzio? I know she was an honorable mention All-American as well. Yeah. What does she mean to this team?
Anytime you can have a freshman come in and have a season like that, she's pretty special. You know, she's again another great player, but a great person as well. Works as hard as anybody. Had a great freshman year and came back identifying some things she wants to get better at, and I think her sophomore season is going to be pretty fantastic.
Yeah, it certainly was a great 2017 for Jessie Mahoney and the CU women's volleyball team. We mentioned those 3 great seniors. Let's go ahead and hear from the leaders of this team.
From the first time that I visited Boulder, I knew that I wanted to come to college here. The mountains, the campus, the volleyball program, being able to play in the Pac-12, and the academics, it all just sort of clicked, and it felt like a home away from home right away.
It's been quite the experience. I mean, I came in as a freshman and didn't really expect any of the things that have happened. It was an awesome experience overall. I think that the best part of it was my teammates, the community that we built with each other, and the friendships and the family away from family that I had.
Then it was cool to just make a new family. Over the years, it would change every year, and it's amazing how close you grow to them, especially after 4 years. It's going to be really hard to say goodbye to everyone. Play so much volleyball together that you really create a family.
Right to hear from those seniors as the Buffaloes advance for the first time in 20 years to the Sweet 16, continuing with head coach Jessie Mahoney. Let's go back to that game in Waco, Texas, against Baylor, round of 32. That sent the Buffs to the Sweet 16. That was a great moment, great win for the Buffs in enemy territory.
Yeah, it was a fantastic match. Baylor, number 2 team in the Big 12. Really good team, especially at home. I was really proud of the way our kids performed. To get a win, get a sweep in 3 in an environment like that was pretty special.
You know, we talked about the Pac-12 and what a great volleyball conference it is. I'm not sure people understand the level that this league plays at. 9 of the 12 teams last year went to the NCAA tournament. Well, what does it mean for this program to compete at that level, week in and week out?
We love it. It's one of the reasons kids come to this program is because they want to play in the best league, best volleyball league in the country. We know that every night we have to play our best to not only compete but to win. It really, I think, brings out the best in all of our players and our staff and our program.
And I'd have to think as well, and you kind of allude to it, though, when you go out on a recruiting trail, you're not taking a backseat to anybody at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. We feel like we can compete for a national championship here at Colorado, and we can go out and talk to the players that can help us do that.
Do you think that attitude then kind of, from what you're talking about, then bleeds down to the players? They understand as well that they're going out and competing at a national level every single match.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we feel like we can play with anybody in the country. We play with the best players in the country night in and night out in this league.
One of the great things about being the Pac-12 has been the Champions Center, the facility upgrades. We've seen here at the Coors Event Center as well. What does that mean for you guys?
It's fantastic. I mean, we have our kids are going to get a world-class experience here, not just educationally, but from the staff and the support that they get day in and day out, and facilities is a huge part of that.
All right. Well, congratulations on a great 2017. Good luck next season.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Volleyball coach Jessie Mahoney. As we continue here at the Buffalo Stampede, looking at CU's time in the Pac-12. Yeah. Stay with us. You'll figure that one out when we come back. Again, welcome back to the Buffalo Stampede. I'm voice of the bus, Mark Johnson, as we look back to the greatest moments in Colorado athletic history over the last 7 years since they joined the Pac-12. Ski coach Richard Roco is joining us here for a couple of minutes. I know what you're saying, the Pac-12 and skiing, but technically, because of Colorado and Utah, it is a
powerhouse.
Yeah.
After all, we have 2 schools in Pac-12 conference, and it's very unique in United States. We have a couple schools around like this in Ivy League East, but now here in West, we are here.
Yeah, but the Buffs compete in RIMSA, but because of Utah and Colorado, when one of you wins a crown, it's a Pac-12 title that the
Absolutely, conference. Yeah. We have actually our own conference, as a ski conference, RMISA, western part of it, and we are winning that one as well. So it's good to have a couple of titles like this collected in 1 year.
It's been an amazing run for the University of Colorado. National championships in 2011, 2012, 2015. Since 2006, that predates the Pac-12, if you will, the Buffs have not finished lower than 4th in the nation, Coach. This has been an amazing run for Colorado.
Well, it's correct. Actually, we finished second too many times, so that's something what can be held against us. But no, absolutely not. We have a consistent, very solid, consistent track of victories or performances.
And with a resume like that, I mean, every sports goes into a season talking about we're here to win a championship. But for your program, every single year, that is the goal, correct? I mean, so you joke, but when you finish second, well, we didn't reach what we wanted to do.
It is the joke, because what else we want to do? I mean, we want to say we'll go fight for second place or third place? No, we have to. The ultimate goal is to win NCAA championship. After all, the process leading to it, it's even more than winning it, because how you do throughout the season, you do from race to race, academically, injuries, I mean, everything counts.
Sure.
So it's NCAA championship, it's obviously the highest mark.
And again, the Buffaloes have done that in 2011, 2013, 2015. Another aspect of CU skiing we'll talk about is the Olympians. We'll do that here in just a moment. This past year, the Buffaloes had an Olympian from Richard's home country, and I'll let you say her name.
Petra Hinchicova.
If you are going to the Olympics, that's always a big reward, and it means so much for the athlete. It means that you actually achieved something what you were dreaming of since you were probably a child. It's even starting at the games. It's a big experience, it's a big achievement, and having a good result there, that's just the cherry on the cake. Oh, it means a lot for me. It means that here studying in the US, it's a really cool experience, but I still feel fully Czech, and I'm really proud that I was called and that I can represent the Czech Republic. And I mean, I would do everything for Czech, so it just means a lot for me. When they got the news, it was here during the night. So I woke up and I had 10 missed calls and so many messages saying congratulations, and I didn't know what. But then I find out that I'm actually going to the Olympics. So I was just really surprised, and it was the best morning call which I ever had. CU Boulder, which I owe them so much for helping me to achieve this goal. I definitely owe so much to my coaches, and especially Jana, because she was helping me a lot. I'm actually happy that I can show my family that I can achieve what I can achieve.
Oh, that is Petra Hinchicova. I'll Americanize that name, but she's been a heck of an athlete for the Colorado Buffaloes, hasn't she?
Absolutely. Her performance throughout those 4 years here were fabulous, and she was consistent, she was winning, she was representing Czech Republic, she went to World Junior Championship. So, I mean, throughout the 4 years, she collected pretty much all hardware she could possibly collect. Double national NCAA championship winner. So it's definitely, she's been a set to our team.
You know, a little bit like Mark Wetmore with cross country and track, this program produces a number of Olympians. When you think during the 7 years of your time with the Pac-12, who were some of the top skiers you think about have come through this program?
Well, Matt Strom ended up as assistant coach at DU after graduating here. Those guys are, I mean, a number of kids. David Ketter, he was last year pretty much committed to World Cup skiing, and end up skiing most of the season in Europe and chasing World Cup title the year before, NORAM title. So bunch, and you know, I don't want to single out anyone. They all are in a good position to be there.
Yeah, the Buffaloes have certainly been outstanding here in the last few years. Again, those national championships, 3 of them, in fact, since joining the Pac-12. Speaking of Olympic athletes, when we come back here at the Buffalo Stampede, now that we're wrapping up with Richard Roco from the ski team, athletic director Rick George talks about some of these great athletes that the Buffs have sent to the Olympics and represent Colorado.
Emma Coburn, no American has won a medal in this event. She's hugely talented, she's very fast. And the 3 fastest women in the world this year are right there at the very front. One of the greatest performances we've ever seen. Ivan Chepkomoy does get the silver. A brilliant bronze for Emma Coburn.
Well, some great footage of some of the Buffs Olympians since we joined the Pac-12 back in the 2011-2012 campaign. I'm voice of the Buffs, Mark Johnson. Welcome back to the Buffalo Stampede as we celebrate the Buffs in the Pac-12. Athletic Director Rick George joining us here for a couple of minutes. Those Olympians are always awesome for the program, aren't they?
Yeah, they're great. I mean, they're so much fun to watch. And just, the last Olympics, watching Emma and Jenny and doing the things that they did, winning 2 bronze medals. And, just it's great for our institution, but it's also great for the conference. And, the Conference of Champions, I think we put more Olympians out there than any other of the conferences combined. And, there's just, so much success that as a conference we have, but also at CU and what our student athletes have done.
I think what Emma and Jenny have done have been for great faces for the athletic department. 6 Buffaloes, in fact, over the last 2 Olympiads in 2012, 2016. And the one thing with some of these women we're talking about, they're great representatives for the athletic department. I mean, they're back here all the time. They're always promoting CU.
No, they are. They're always promoting CU, and it's kind of cool when you're in the middle of your summer football camp in August, and Coach McIntyre took the time, when they were competing and when they were running live, he brought the team together to be able to watch them, and that kind of success breeds success, and the mental fortitude that you have to have in a mile race or a 3K steeplechase is so difficult in itself. And then for the 2 American distance running medals, the only 2 were both at CU, which makes me proud as a Buff, and I'm sure it does entire Buff Nation.
And obviously that's good for track and cross country around here, where those athletes come from. But overall, it promotes the entire athletic department, doesn't it?
No, it really does. I mean, gosh, Kara Goucher still today is doing some amazing things and running great races. And, she's been around, and Jenny and Emma and, Shalea Kipp. I mean, we've just had some really outstanding athletes, and they represent our institution well.
And anytime the Buffs can honor some of these former Colorado athletes that are now Olympians, they do so. And we certainly did that last fall at a football game at Folsom Field.
Okay, you guys, especially in light of cross-country women winning Pac-12, how does it feel to be back and set the culture for Pac-12 conference and CU cross-country?
I love coming back here to be a big Buffs fan, and I'm so proud of the women yesterday for winning the Pac-12 championships. We're all really excited for them. I think it's a real testament to the university that not only do we excel here, but obviously we stick around. The Buffs are a big part of our life even today, and we just love representing the United States and the Buffs all around the world.
Yeah, we're all so proud to be Buffaloes. This is where we all started our careers, and we couldn't be prouder to come back and share it with everyone here.
Well, we could not be more proud to have you guys as alums. Go Buffs!
That was a great day honoring some Olympians at a football game at halftime at Folsom Field. We continue with Rick George. This show's about what it has meant for Colorado in the Pac-12. And, of course, that was 2011-2012 was the first year that the Buffs moved into the league, leaving the Big 12. You came on board in 2013, so you kind of jumped in midstream. But what do you think it's meant for this athletic department?
Well, it's been great. I mean, just from an institution, the research, the way we can share with other institutions in the conference. But as you look at the athletics and that component of it, each sport is difficult because the conference is very good in every sport. And so when you go out there every Saturday or Friday or Thursday or whatever the day is, you've got to compete at a very high level. I think our student athletes are doing that. It's been great for us in that regard because I think we've gotten better as an athletic department because of the Pac-12.
Do you think as well, and one thing we heard about during this transition was the footprint of alumni on the West Coast. That's been a plus for Colorado as well.
No, it really has. And from a recruiting perspective as well, if you think about it, we can, if we recruit in Southern California or Arizona, we can bring our student athletes home or close to home where their parents can see them. The Pac-12 networks have been good in that regard, that our student athletes, their parents can watch them while they're competing. So that's been important. And then from a fundraising standpoint, we've got 30,000 living alumni on the West Coast, and to be able to bring us to them rather than them coming to Boulder, I think has had a significant impact on our fundraising efforts. And if you look at our crowds when we're on the West Coast, very good, well attended by Buffs.
Yeah, without question. And the Buffaloes certainly kind of had to raise, and you kind of alluded to this a little bit, it's raising all boats across the conference, isn't the athletic department?
Yeah, it is. I mean, it really is. And, you know, to be able to compete in this conference in each sport where it's very challenging and very difficult, I think it brings the best out in our student athletes. I think our student athletes are up for the challenge. We've won some championships over the last 5-6 years since being in the conference. So we feel good about where we are.
All right, Rick, appreciate the time. Thank you.
Thank you. Go Buffs.
Athletic Director Rick George joining us as we talk about Colorado's transition since 2011-2012 into the Pac-12. Next up, it's a great golf conference. We're talking with men's and women's golf coaches here at CU Next. Well, some great images right there. Colorado Buffaloes playing in an event in Coeur d'Alene. That's northern Idaho. Beautiful up there. Great fishing, by the way. As we continue here on the Buffalo Stampede, I'm voice of the bus, Mark Johnson, and Kelly joining us as we look back on the best moments in Colorado athletics in Pac-12 since 2011-2012. There have been some great moments for women's golf in Pac-12, huh?
Yeah. Well, last fall we did play Coeur d'Alene. That was beautiful. You're right. We didn't have time for fishing, but probably one of our better tournaments this year. Everybody got on a roll. It was really fun, and Kirsty Hodgkins on our team won individually.
No fish, but there were some birdies in there. How about that? I guarantee you that. Go back, when you think about the Buffs' time in the Pac-12, the first event Colorado played in women's golf as a Pac-12 member, you were victorious.
We got invited to University of Washington's tournament at Tahali Country Club, and we went in there and won, and I think we surprised a few people. It was kind of fun.
Has this been the experience of playing in the Pac-12 has been good for women's golf?
It really has. It's lifted our program amazingly. I think in golf, you got to play with the best to become the best, and we definitely have that in the Pac-12. For example, this year, 7 teams in the Pac-12 made it to the NCAA championship.
Wow.
Yeah.
So a loaded conference.
Loaded.
Was there an adjustment for the program moving into the league?
We had a good team. We were pretty well set up coming into the Pac-12. That was 2011-12. We had Emily Talley and Jessica Wallace, Alex Stewart, and Jenny and Kristen Coleman. So we had a good top 5.
I think golf fans for CU will remember that just a couple of years ago, the men's Pac-12 tournament was here. But before that, the women actually hosted the tournament, was it 3 or 4 years ago?
We did at Boulder Country Club, and all the Pac-12 coaches kept asking me, are you going to have snow? Are you going to have snow? And I said, well, we might. But we had perfect weather, and we had Ralphie out there, and it was just Jeremy Bloom spoke to us, so it was great.
All right. Yeah, great stuff. Buffs have been very good at the Pac-12. One of the better players in recent years has been senior Brittany Fan. We caught up with her earlier this season.
Hi guys, I'm Brittany Fan. I'm on the women's golf team. This is how I start my day. Right now we had 7 a.m. workouts with our trainers, and they definitely worked us hard. Right after the workout, what's really nice is that in Coors or in the Champion Center, they have fueling stations for us. So basically, I'm going to grab a smoothie and some food and then head off to class. It's great to have a good support system with the trainers, the people in the academic department, coaches, that kind of stuff. But I mean, half of it comes from you wanting to get better and basically taking advantage of all the opportunities that you're given. One of the biggest things that you're going to have to do as an athlete is you're going to need to understand that you're going to have to sacrifice something. Because you have to maintain sport, school, and social, but you need to think about what your priority is and how good you want to be. But since they've added the Champion Center, it's gotten a whole lot better. And we got locker rooms. Very nice. So we go in there after workouts. You can go in there and sleep if you need to, but let's be honest, you never have time to sleep. So this morning we got workouts done, we got eating breakfast done, walked to class, now I'm about to go into my class and basically be a student. And then after this I've got a meeting with my academic advisor. So right now we're at the golf course, and I would say this is my favorite part of the day because not only is it relaxing, but I like to play golf, just a little.
Yeah, Brittany Fan's been an awful good one for the Buffaloes. 4 straight NCAA regionals. She's been one of your better players here recently.
She has, and we love Brittany, and it's going to be very different not having her next year, but I think she'll be on to a great professional career.
2017 was a very nice year for the Buffaloes in women's golf.
It was. We had just a great group of young women to work with. Brent Franklin's been our longtime assistant coach, and he's helped those players a ton. And we had a good year, and it kind of kept building and building, and we made it through the regionals after missing by one shot the last 2 years. We made it by one this year, so that was stressful but exciting. And then national championship, we played well. We were really close, I think, to that match play, and that's our goal for next year.
You know, football or basketball, they talk about programs getting momentum. Does the same hold true in golf? So you're coming off a year like that. Does that build momentum in this sport?
I think it does. Like losing Brittany is a big loss, but we have some good young players coming in, some younger players on our team that are really working. So I think we can keep the momentum going.
Well, Buffalo's been playing well, and good luck. You got some good young talent that are coming back next season.
We do. We do. We have good young players on our team, and then some great freshmen coming in and a graduate transfer. So we're looking forward to it.
All right, look forward to it as well. Good luck this season.
Thank you.
All right, Ann Kelly, CU women's golf coach, as we put a wrap on the Buffs look back at their best moments in Pac-12 history on the Buffalo Stampede. We'll talk to you this fall when football gets cranking up and we start looking at all the fall sports.